It seemed like just yesterday the Detroit Lions lost to the Washington Commanders, went straight into free agency, letting Zadarius Smith go, drafting Tyleik Williams and Isaac Tesla in April, OTA's rookie minicamp, and it's all coming down to this. In just 9 short days, the Detroit Lions will be headed to Green Bay to take on the Green Bay Packers. And even though they traded for Micah Parsons, Green Bay still sucks. Get your t-shirts down below. If you act now, you might be able to get it just in time for the game. But the Detroit Lions finalized their 53-man roster, the initial one anyway. I think, give or take a few moves, that it's going to probably look like this for kickoff in 9 short days. But they have secured all 53 spots on the 53-man roster. And we did bring in a defensive end. It is not Zadarius Smith, though, but it is a defensive end. And that is that the Lions decided, this is coming from their Twitter account, have signed defensive end Andre Carter to the practice squad. Now, while you heard me chuckle, it's because finding out who this guy was before they put a picture up of him was quite difficult. If you looked up Andre Carter, you saw a dude that was born the same year I was, and I'm sure he's not playing anymore, 1979. Then if you looked up, you kept looking, it was another guy with the same name, and the Detroit Lions forgot to add the word, the second, the Roman numeral second, so it would be much easier to find who he was. But shout out to the chat for making that happen. So this guy is going into his 3rd year. Let's take a look at his stats. He's a big dude, tall, lanky, 6'6", 257, 25 years old, undrafted out of Army, going into his 2nd season. In the preseason of 2025, he had 2 solo tackles, and one of them was a sack. Played in 2023 for the Minnesota Vikings. I got to talk to my Vikings guys, see if he remembers him. He played in 12 games. Remember, to get on this list, to have stats, you got to have, for the regular season, you have to play a game in the regular season. Had 2 total tackles, and they were all assisted. In 3 games last year with the Las Vegas Raiders, had 3 games and 1 total tackle. He has, he's got more sacks. So the 2 defensive ends that we just signed has the same amount of sacks as Marcus Davenport. You are going to have to forgive me if that's what you want to do, if that's your thing, because I'm going to have no chill when it comes to Marcus Davenport. That's just the way it is. He has to prove everything to me and this franchise and his team, and he has to regain his former glory. That is his burden to bear, not mine. I just am the guy to talk about it. That's how that is. But let's take a look at his prospect info. Now, this is quite intriguing to me when you see where he's at. Out of Army, which he had a bunch of sacks his last year. They got him at 6'6.5", 256. This was during, I mean, did he grow some more? Or did he, that's crazy, man. Arm length, and you got the hand. Now, check this out. This is the part that's intriguing. He got a grade of 6.00, traits or talent to be above average backup. What that means to me is that this is the kind of guy that, kind of like that James Houston type dude. He starts on the practice squad, works his way up to the team. And speaking of James Houston made the 53-man roster of the Dallas Cowboys. Talk about full circle, man. We draft James Houston, we cut him, we sign him to the practice squad. He comes back, gets elevated, then eventually gets cut, winds up on the 53-man roster of the Dallas Cowboys, who just traded Micah Parsons to Green Bay. But we also picked up a former Dallas Cowboy. So talk about full circle, man. So I think this guy is the type of dude that could sneakily get his way onto a roster. If we look at let's look at where he was projected to go by Lance Zierlein. He was projected to be a 5th or 6th round pick, but as we know, he went undrafted. Here is his overview. Says, long and rangy, Carter is currently best suited as a 3-4 rush linebacker on passing downs. Now, that was heading into the league. I don't know what he did with his former team, but we talked about this 3-4 thing yesterday, and that the Lions went into the 53-man roster with 6 linebackers, and they had 3 defensive ends. Now we're up to, we have 9 Is it 9? It's 8 or 9 defensive tackles, and now we are up to 5 defensive ends on the 53-man roster. So I think those of you who think we might be running a 4-3, you could be on to something. Says, but it's likely to develop into an every down player with additional growth, both physically and technically. Carter needs to play with more skilled hands and inject a little more glass into his on-field diet in order to meet force with force when the run game comes downhill at him. His explosive get-off and natural bend agility at the top of the rush are enough to create early opportunities for himself as a quarterback hunter. Carter might need a longer runway to meet his potential, but if he does his pass rush homework, he could take a substantial leap forward as an odd or even front edge rusher by year 3. Now, before we get to his strengths, I noticed something here. He's going into year 3. This is his 3rd year, and he did have 2 sacks in the preseason. We'll take a look at that. Before we get there, let's take a look at that information now. This information is coming from Pride of Detroit. Says at 6'6", 256, Carter flashed pass rushing skills at Army, registering 15.5 sacks as a senior, as well as each of his training camps for the Vikings and Raiders. This past preseason, he registered 2 sacks and 7 pressures per PFF and was in contention for a spot on the active roster. It wouldn't work out for Carter, and he opted to return to the NFC North for another opportunity to prove himself on the practice squad. So again, I'm not pumping this dude up. He's a practice squad dude who has potential, which is that's what we do, right? Now, I'm the same guy as yesterday. This is non-crash out me. It's one of them things where I got to get it off my chest. I got to get it all out, and then we pick up where we left off. I mean, it is what it is. The team this is going to come down to what the team does, right? I'm just going to be here to talk about it. So hopefully this guy can do something. I mean, eventually he's going to be needed. He's going to be needed before, by the end of the season. We will see him in the game before the season is over. I got to take a look at the practice squad again because I believe there's a couple guys that were on here last year that are no longer on the team. Before we go any further, I think Pride of Detroit, yeah, here we go. Pride of Detroit has the edge rushers. Okay, so Isaac Ukwu, we wind up signing to the practice squad. Now he's been joined by Andre Carter, who is not on this list, is Mitchell Agude and Nate Lynn. Those are the 2 guys that are not here. So their time with the Detroit Lions is over at this moment. Now let's look at his strengths. Says finished 2021 with the season with 15.5 sacks, wingspan to excite evaluators looking for a future edge setter. So, I mean, coming out of college, man, he had potential, and that's what we know. It's going to be curious to know what's going to happen when Hassanin comes back. Long frame with potential to add substantial mass and muscle in the pros. Explodes up the field to distress pass-setting tackles. Long, bendy strides with the ability to flip his hips and cut corners out of the rush arc. Fairly effective rip and run mechanism with his rush. Can make silky smooth transitions inside on 2-way go. Fluid feet for seamless inside spin counters. So far, I mean, again, like I said, I'm not trying to hype this dude up or anything like that. You know who I want. I'm tired of these guys coming in, but we'll see what we got. I mean, we're there now. We are at that point where we got to see what we got, right? Let's take a look at his weaknesses. Might need a red shirt year to hit the weights and get bigger. Can be a little too passive as a run defender. Allows easy attacks into his frame by blockers. Doesn't play with much shock in his hands. Doesn't unglue quickly from punch once it lands. Had issues dealing with additional attention from pass protection in 2022. Drag down tackler. All right, now this is something I'm going to bring in that I didn't see before that I think would be great to what they thought of him coming out of college. Check this out. Sources tell us you won't even recognize him in 3 years with how much his body will change when he's on an NFL team. He's going to be a lot thicker and stronger than what you see on tape right now. And that came from a scouting director for the AFC. Should I say it, y'all? Should I say pause like the kids do? No, I'm about to be 46, man. I just say it anyway. Pause. Had to get it in. So this guy here is potential. That's what I hear. Potential. We've seen it happen with James Houston. Can it happen again? Can we get lightning in a bottle? Can it strike twice with Andre Carter the second? Can he be what James Houston was back in 2022? James Houston on the practice squad was elevated, came out the gate, had like 2 sacks against Josh Allen, who was a hard man to tackle. We couldn't sack him at all when we played him last year. Could Andre Carter II be James Houston of 2022? I don't know. James Houston came out halfway through the season, got wound up with 8 sacks. 8 sacks. So, I mean, you know, like I said, y'all, you're going to get a couple versions of me. I up, you know, I valley, I plateau, I crash out, I come back. That's what a fan does. That's why this is not a talking head channel. I have a head and I talk and I sit at a desk. But I am a fan at the end of the day. All of this stuff. You see all this stuff in here? You see all of this stuff in here? This is not just for my basement studio. This is, you should see the stuff. It's stuff that you can't see, right? It's stuff that you cannot see. I've got a giant $300 helmet poster over there that you can't see. I think I'm showing my members. I got a cut out a Frank Ragnow that's over here that I picked up at a liquor store. He was about to throw it out. I've got flags and all type of trinkets on the wall and things that you cannot see, right? So, but this is what I do. If you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know this. You know that this is how it works. So anyway, we're here now. The season starts in 9 days. Zadarius Smith is probably not going to sign with this team. I am quite intrigued to want to know where he goes. I think he could possibly go to the Bears. He just came from playing outside. You know, I don't know if his girlfriend got something to say about that. I'm still holding out hope that he comes back. But again, the Lions are going to have to make some moves because I think we go into this season with this roster or it being pretty much like that. Like it is now, maybe a change or two. But, I mean, we can see. There's something that I will add to the end of this video that I want to put before you, okay? We've been waiting on something. We've been wondering, like a trade deadline type move. We've been hearing for the past couple of years that the Detroit Lions were going for potentially, and it was Danielle Hunter at the trade deadline in 2023. We wound up with Donovan Peoples-Jones. In 2024, he had no choice but to trade for a pass rusher. Do you think, and I know this video is not about that, but this is where we are. Do you think if, depending on how the Lions are doing at the trade deadline, do you think that Brad, this will be the year that he makes a move for that person that can take us, a needle-moving person that can take us over the hump? Do you think it could be, or do you think Brad is just going to roll with what we have? I genuinely don't know. I do not know. If I had to base it off the past, I'm going to say no, that he's not. But again, he did trade for Zadarius Smith, the best of the available at that time. Would that happen again? Not necessarily that someone gets hurt. I'm even going to say Davenport stays healthy. But where it's just like, you know what? Hutch is cool. Davenport is cool. Our roster is cool. But we right there, we might need to get pushed over the edge. And he makes the move for somebody to do that. Just something I threw out at the last minute to get your input on that. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Again, expect a cancer awareness shirt to drop in about 2 weeks. 2 weeks, probably around September 15th, somewhere around there, so you guys can have it. It's going to be the Lions Syndicate. Do I still have I might have got rid of them. Yeah, they're not on here. Oh, here we go. Perfect. I do have it. All right, so it's going to be this logo, okay? Actually, that's the wrong one. It's going to be this one here. It's going to be this one, and when I finalize it, I will show it to you. So it's going to be this one here. This is the best-selling one on the store. Thank you guys very much. Shout out to the Lions. It's all grid inspired. And if you guys got any shirt ideas, be sure to let me know. But the blue is going to be pink. Everything blue is going to be pink. I even was able to make the lion pink, and it'll be only available for from September 15th through October 31st. And what we'll do is I got some ideas. I'll let you know what they are when I actually show you the shirt. because by the time this releases, I'll have more information. Okay. So anyway, trying to do some good in the community, man. I'm gonna try to do more. All right. So anyway, this channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. Listen, guys, there's a lot of people in this space. And some of them you never see it. YouTube has become something that it wasn't 5 years ago. It wasn't 7 years ago. It wasn't 10 years ago. It was when I started this, I was sitting in my dining room table with my cell phone recording myself, a HP laptop and a Yeti microphone. And I was one of the first people to do it, not the first, but the first people to do it. But if you go check the tape, I was one of the first people to really, like the first regular people on the fan side to bring a professional type flair to the content. And what you're seeing now is this. You're just seeing a bunch of talking heads where I'm trying to figure out where the fan went. Where did the fan get lost? And that's what you hear for. This is a fan. That's why it's literally the tagline is fan-driven brand. I'm a fan at the end of the day who happens to have a YouTube channel and has a pretty decent following, man. So I want y'all to remember that. Whenever you come in here and you call my takes idiotic or you say that I'm crying or whatever the situation is, I'm just like a dude that sits on the couch. If you've ever been to a game with me, you see that. I'm a fan. That's what I am, who gives you analysis and my opinion on the team. All right. So just remember that. And I know we go at each other's throats a lot, but I understand that fan is short for fanatic, and we all have our thoughts and our feelings, and we get them across. Like it can either like bring people together or really divide them. So I'm a fan just like you at the end of the day, who puts his opinion on YouTube. I was once you, and you could be me, right? But I will say it's not made for everybody. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. I feel like every now and then, that's what you don't get from other channels. You don't get, not all other channels. You don't get a person. I am a person, right, who connects with people and all that stuff. I'm not just here to talk about the team and get paid and rinse, repeat. I spend my own money. I spend, my own time. I do all of that stuff, right? Because me and you are the same, whether or not we have the same opinion, but we both are the same. All right. Go Lions.